over 6,000 confirmed exoplanets, and these exoplanets have a range of a bunch of different names, and it could be a little bit hard to wrap your head around. So I'm going to try to explain exoplanet naming convention. So the first part breaks down pretty simply, is that you have the star name and then you have a lowercase letter that designates the planet. And I'm going to first talk about the lowercase letter and then we'll talk about the star name. So the lowercase letters start with B and then it goes alphabetically, C, D, E, etc. And it doesn't start with A because A is reserved for the star and it's actually listed as an uppercase letter when it's referring to a star. So that's one way to be able to know if you're talking about a star or a planet. And then the other thing that's really interesting about the lowercase letter is that while it is alphabetical, it is not in order of distance from the star. It's actually in order of the discovery. So your furthest out planet could be B because that was the first one that was discovered. So it makes it a little bit weird sometimes then when you're looking at whole systems, because you're like, you want B to be the one that's closest and it could be like in the middle, it could be further out. It can get really confusing, but so it is by discovery order. Now there is the star name. So for the star name, there is a ton of names that a star can have. Actually, a star can have, like I've honestly found stars that I feel like have like up to like 10 names. Like they have an insane number of names. And that is because there is a lot of different things that go on. So first off, there is proper names, which is basically historical names given to stars that typically we were able to see in the night sky. Then there's some other specific naming conventions of there's the Bayer naming convention and there's the Flamsteed naming convention. And that works sometimes like with the constellation and things like that. So there's some extra different naming conventions that also work with that aren't necessarily like fully scientific based as in the other ones. So the other naming conventions could be for specific catalogs. So HD, GJ, HIP, all of those are actual specific catalogs, and then they have a number that is that specific star for that catalog. You can also have names based on the instrument that it found. So that's Kepler, WASP, TRAPPIST. All of those are based on the instrument that was used to find the star. If it has PSR in the beginning, that is actually a planet that is around a pulsar. That is a pulsar and not a regular star, which those planets are absolutely fascinating. And then you can also have coordinate based, so where you get those like really long, just random strings of numbers. Those are coordinates based on like RA, declination, things like that, or specific fields. So there is a ton of names that a single star could be called. So how do they choose which one is for the planet? Well, it honestly depends on the discovery paper and what the scientists decided to choose. They might choose the Flamsteed designation, they might choose the catalog. It all depends on that paper, and whatever is chosen basically in that paper is usually what then people call it. But it could technically be called an entire list of different names. It's just which one did they choose?